So I've just been looking into spiral dynamics. It's come within my orbit again, something I've been aware of in the peripheral for a year or so. And also there's this diagram of the vibrational frequency of different levels of consciousness, which spiral dynamics actually transposes quite nicely onto. While I've been contemplating that this morning, the topic of theory U came back into mind for some reason, and I have to go and refer to my notes on that, but I seem to feel that this kind of fits into the whole model, another level of superimposing over the top of the spiral dynamics model and the vibrational frequency. So the spiral dynamics pretty much is this spiral here, and it depicts different levels of conscious awareness, really, where we start off from the brown level of survival, where we're not aware of anything at all apart from just the needs to survive. Then we're going to the purple level of tribes and community, over to the blue level, over to the red level of just give me what I need. I don't care about anyone else, no one else exists. Over to the blue level of pretty much structure, organisation. Up to the orange level of entrepreneurship and success, pushing forward. Then over to the green level of conscious planetary awareness and the need to do better. Then here into the yellow level, where we start to recognize that we are outside of all of this physicality to a certain extent. We start to get an idea of our spiritual consciousness and awareness, and we get up into the teal level, where we really are stepping now into the non-duality and the oneness with everything. And then there's another level kind of above that isn't talked about so far. But it occurred to me today that this is more like a tornado dynamics, or the ninja dynamics, where bringing this theory U into the model here, where in the centre we've got the origin, the balance between the two swivel points. And if we think of this theory U, the spiral dynamics model, like a tornado, then it's spinning and spiraling, and there's a calmness in the central core of this tornado, while the outer side is pretty much the chaotic destruction aspect of the tornado. And we are at all spectrums of this tornado, depending on our individual construction and placement and position and needs and life purpose and life path. So it occurs to me that this central tornado are for those that are just being pulled along. There's a slight updraft, and the general consensus, the general population is in this core central channel here, and they're just fitting in. They just want to have an easy life, just go with the flow, and they're slowly being sucked up through these levels of consciousness as the greater consciousness develops and progresses. And if we overlaid the vibrational frequency, we can start down here at the low, and we're increasing up here in vibrational frequency as well. So as the whole awareness of civilization and humanity is increasing in vibrational consciousness, and the masses are being sucked up through this spout in the centre, whereas we always have people out here in the chaotic realms, the forerunners, the experimenters, the weirdos, the mad, the entrepreneurs. They're testing the waters of what's possible in these new levels, and they're pushing the extremes, they're pushing back the boundaries of comfort to see what can be discovered and found in this outer edge, this chaotic edge. And there are lots of people that range right from this central core out to the edge of the chaos in each of these different expressions of conscious vibration. So there's also at each of these levels mini tornadoes happening at each of these different stages. These are people that are getting born into the different levels of consciousness, but are exploring the potentials and possibilities of that particular aspect of consciousness. And we've also got, like at the moment in humanity, we have a cyclic path that we are following, and if we take a top-down view, then it looks like a circle. I suppose it's been depicted like a tower, and it's been depicted like a circle. And this circle can be between the, say, the blue, the orange, and the green. We're cycling through, and we're in society at the moment. We're kind of in this blue, orange, and green cycle, where blue is the conventional organizations working for a corporation, a business. There's structure, there's hierarchy. Then we've got the orange, which is the individuality and the entrepreneurship and the stepping out and the success and the doing the best and making the money. Then we've got the green coming in, which is the awareness of the problems that the orange and partly the blue are creating for the planet and our existence here. So we're kind of in this awareness cycle at the moment of, we may be working for a corporation or an organization and have the dreams of stepping out into our own business and our own individuality, our own orange success, making more money, retiring early. And then we've also been brought into, with the mass media at the moment, the awareness of the green, the problems with the planet and what we're causing. And we're kind of fighting round and round and round in this cycle at the moment, trying to find a solution to all of this. Now, this can be seen as the daily grind, the vicious cycle. But there's also another depiction of this, which is, instead of looking at it from top down, we look at it as almost like the spiral dynamics, where we're going from a blue over to the orange, over to the green. But instead of simply just going around and round in circles here, this would look like from top down, what we're actually doing is going in a kind of progressive tower. It's like a stairway, that each of these, as we go through them, is a step upwards and a step of progress as we swing back and forth. But each time we complete the cycle, we move up to a higher level of vibrational awareness, consciousness. So while we're going round and round and round in what we think is a vicious cycle, we are actually slowly increasing upwards in conscious awareness, just through wisdom of experience, that we know some things don't work, so we're trying and exploring different parts of this blue, orange and green cycle. Now, as we're going round in this, we're shooting off into the yellow levels of consciousness and the teal levels of oneness with all, which is kind of guiding our cyclic journey through the blue, orange and the green physical journey that we've got here in life. So that's also happening. And we can see that, and we can kind of see that happening within this spiral dynamics. So although we are sort of moving back and forth between individuality and collaboration, we're also exploring and experimenting and raising our consciousness. So there's lots of little cycles, these little tornadoes that are happening at each of these levels of this path as we're slowly progressing. And as we're doing that as individuals, what we're doing as more and more individuals are doing that, we're sucking this core of the mass of humanity up into these different higher regions of consciousness with us. So slowly, ever so slowly, multi-generationally, we're pulling the awareness of humanity up into these greater aspects of spirituality, of consciousness, and allowing the entire body of humanity to ascend. Many stages of enlightenment for individuals happening, little sparks and lightning flashes as this storm continues to swirl. And this all fits incredibly tightly into the concept of or the conclusive answer to the meaning of life that I propose, which is the Great Ism. And that is creating the Great Ism creates this foundation of basically this entire cycle, the awareness that this entire cycle is happening for us as we progress through this consciousness development, and we experience existence, this metaphysical existence of mind, body, spirit, consciousness, as we're traversing the journey. So this I feel is an important awareness for us to have, that is a solid image of where we as an individual are going in life, that there is a plan, that there is a direction, that there is a meaning of life for us here. And there are aspects of this spiral dynamics that, in order to be a true life ninja, that we have to delve into to develop those weak points within our conscious character. So for myself, I kind of came into this life in kind of the blue purple section of consciousness, excuse me, where I was very much tied into family life and the structure, and the expectation was that you would step into the blue level, which was you'd go out and find a job working for somebody. Then somehow I avoided the red sector completely and went from blue to kind of green, and avoided the orange sector. Again, blue was working for a corporation, but then took on this green consciousness of the damage that we're doing to our planet, while also having little sparks out into the yellow section of individuality and consciousness and awareness and spirituality. And now more so in the teal level of non-duality and oneness with everything and spiritual consciousness. So for some reason my life fell into this kind of aspect of the whole spiritual dynamics, and I left out the orange and the red. And during childhood we were partly involved in the brown, which is the growing and the earthiness, the provision of necessities, but that kind of fell away as life went on. And now I'm finding that in order to kind of develop from this teal and this yellow level, I'm delving back into aspects of the orange and the entrepreneurship, the individuality aspect here, and having to explore these elements of red, of anger, of self-gratification, of to hell with everyone, those kind of very egotistic aspects of my character, of my spiritual soul journey, that this physical life existence can give us the opportunity to experience. So although I was kind of mainly in these sections, I'm now having to delve back into these in order to develop a full life ninja tool set that allows me to pull the entirety of experience along into my higher vibrational spiritual realms of awareness. So I hope this has been quite constructive for you in possibly seeing where you might fall in all of this spiritual conscious progress, and what your meaning of life helps you in finding where you are and finding a direction in which to progress your awareness, your understanding, your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom, so that you can continue growing. Thank you.